So it's Thursday night, and I'm super grateful for what God's been doing. Last night in Middelburg, we had a really amazing meeting. A group of about probably 25 guys got together at the house of one of the guys from Leander's church, and I shared my testimony. I didn't know what the Lord really wanted to do, where things were going to go, but just kind of shared some of my story, what I've learned about being a man of God and getting free. And at the end, kind of just looked around and said, "Is there any questions? Anyone want to say anything?" And it was silence for a moment, and kind of looked at one of the leaders, and he kind of shrugged, and I thought, well, maybe that's the end of the night. And all of a sudden, one of the younger guys lifted up his hand and shared about some of the struggles that he had, and then another one shared, and we ended up probably for over an hour, maybe all the way till 10:30 at night, with guys sharing and encouraging one another and determining to start accountability groups to help each other out. And it ended up being a really beautiful night of transparency, which for men is difficult. And, I was told, even especially here in Dutch culture, can be a difficult thing. And so really so grateful. You could tell the Holy Spirit was moving, ministering to men and really encouraging them. At the end of the night, one of the young guys came up to me and he said, "If you only came for one soul, you reached a soul tonight." And so it was super special. This morning, I finished up my teachings on the crucified life with the full-time Bible school students. And so it's always bittersweet because you get to know them, get to talk to them and answer their questions, hear about their life and spend time, and then have to leave. But had some great conversations, really good questions during the lessons, talked about surrendering our plans, our personal rights, and our finances. So that brought up a lot of good discussion. And then had a chance to see my brother Martin, one of the leaders at the school there that I haven't seen in a couple years. So spent some time with him. And then one of the students from last year who was there asked if he could drive me to my meeting with the pastor tonight, so he could spend some time with me, and had a chance to really minister to him, and it was a real blessing. So met with here outside of the city of Gouda with Pastor Hugo and his wife Ilza from the church here in Rotterdam. And we went out to eat and had some fellowship. And tomorrow I'll be preparing for Saturday, but also getting a chance to see some things in Amsterdam. So looking forward to a little bit of a rest after a really, really intense schedule. And so then I'll be doing a conference on Saturday at his church and a couple churches on Sunday, and then heading back to the States on Monday. And so just overwhelmed with gratitude how the Lord's been moving. So many lives have been touched in a notable way, and that's just the fruit that we see. We always know God's doing amazing things that we can't see. And so thankful for all the prayers for everybody who's been keeping us in prayer, keeping me here in prayer, because it's been needed, and God's been answering it. So thank you. It's a rainy Saturday morning, and I'm getting ready to head back to Rotterdam to do an all-day conference. And yesterday had a really cool opportunity to spend some time with Pastor Hugo and to see some of the city of Amsterdam, which I've not really had a chance to visit very much since I've been here these last few times. We went to two places specifically, and they were both historic places. And first one was Anne Frank, her museum that talks about, her time hiding for 2 years with her family during the Holocaust, and living there in the house, and how they eventually got captured. But it talked through her story. And what's really interesting about being here is it just becomes more real, because you're walking the streets where these things happened. You're in the home where this happened, and it just becomes a lot more of a different perspective than seeing things in America. You usually hear it from an American perspective, but to hear it from the Dutch perspective is pretty sobering, because a lot of those things happened here. We went to a Holocaust museum also in Amsterdam, and it opened up recently, and it walked you through the story of what happened, how people were treated, and just the entire history of that tragic event where so many people were killed for just their race. And they showed videos of Nazis that would get together in public assassinations. They would kill Jews, and people would just gather to watch like it was entertainment. And so you just see the depravity of man. I mean, it's overwhelming. You walk out and you realize that without Christ, man is capable of some beyond what you could ever imagine they could be capable of. And so Pastor Hugo told me that not too far away there was a church that in a city where there was a lot of resistance, and someone in the resistance had killed a German soldier. And so in response to that, They came on a Sunday morning when everyone was gathered in a big church, and they pulled out all the men. There's 500 men, and they killed them right away, just to pay them back for that one soldier who had died. And so across the street from the Holocaust Museum, there was a better story of a children's theater that had been set up. And through a process of networking, they were able to rescue 500 kids from being sent to concentration camps. And so you see just the tension of everything going on, and it's just a hard part of history. But it's important that we remember, and it's important that we realize that we need Jesus as people. The world needs Christ and the love that he has. The city I'm going to now, Rotterdam, actually was a city that had more resistance than other cities here. And so the Germans, the way they overcame it, they did an air raid and they just they leveled out all the buildings and just completely leveled it out. So all the buildings now that are there are all since the 1950s and beyond. And so the city would have been looked more like the ancient architecture, the older architecture, like Amsterdam and those places. But it looks quite a bit different and more modern because it was leveled out in World War II. So it's fascinating. It's heartbreaking. It was a heavy day, but I was really grateful to be able to do that. And then to spend some time with a good friend of mine and his wife last night, Olaf, and their family. And it's great that she's from South Africa. So I got to eat my first South African meal. It was really, really, really good, and have some great and rich fellowship with them, talking about the Lord, and then going back and studying a little bit, waking up early this morning and heading out to Rotterdam to teach, and just really grateful. It's been a great trip. It's been nonstop, but God's been moving, and it's been just amazing to see what he's doing.